Namaste. My name is Todd Norian and I'm the founder of Ashaya Yoga. Welcome to Asana Spotlight. This is a time when we take one pose and go with a little more detail, some modifications, even some therapeutics to get to know these poses a little bit better. So I want to encourage you to share this experience with your friends, pass it around so everybody can experience this deep asana and to go in, have more inner peace, more joy, more fulfillment, and to align with our purpose in life. So during this time of the year, we call it the dark season, everything on earth is going in, everything's closing down, slowing down, except this is the time when human beings are like rise to action in the most frenzied pace due to the holidays and so many activities. So it's really good to remember, hey, let's align with nature, let's go with the seasons and slow it down. So the pose we're going to do today is a forward bend pose that actually activates the parasympathetic nervous system, that slows our nervous system down and gives us that sense of retreat, that sense of restoration, rejuvenation, which is so necessary today. So that, during the day we're not walking around totally exhausted. We walk around with abundant energy because we've nourished ourselves. And it's very hard to cut through the levels of high-speed mind, high-speed internet, high-speed mind, and lots of worry, lots of anxiety. We just get so revved up, and it's very hard to stop the rotations of the mind. It's like being a rat caught in a wheel. And so we have to come up with some, techniques and some strategies that help us on a body, mind, and heart level to actually let go and learn how to relax and how to turn on and gain mastery over this parasympathetic nervous system. Because you have to, think about that. We're wired for fight, flight, or freeze because that's how we survive. And so we're not really going against that. It's just that we're learning how to manage it. And yoga, and especially Ashaya Yoga, is a great way to manage that energy and create new neural pathways. So instead of trying to fight with something or flee or worry about it or needing something to change right away, we take a breath, we pause, and we come back to the space inside of the heart where we're already whole and complete, where grace is already flowing, where there's already a sense of fulfillment, joy, wholeness, and a sense of deep purpose. And that's what we want to return to. So the pose we're going to do today is called Trianga Mukha Ekapada Paschimottanasana. All together, let's say it 5 times as fast as you can. Just kidding. So it's a mouthful. Let's break it down. So Trianga, tree is 3. Anga is limb, so it's 3-limbed. Mukha Ekapada, so it's mukha facing. Ekapada is 1-legged, so 3-limbed. Facing 3-limbed, 1-legged. Paschimottanasana is posterior expanded stretch. Paschimo is posterior. Tan means to extend. So Western extended stretch. It's just a long way of saying the 3-limbed, 1-legged posture. And the 3 limbs refer to, if you look at your leg, there's 2 segments, the upper and lower leg. So in one leg, there's 2, and we're going to be folding at the knee on the other leg. So it's really one segment of one leg and 2 segments of the other leg is the 3. Of course, we're facing it. So what this is, it's a forward bend pose, which is fabulous for reducing stress. And also, whenever you fold forward, it's like you're folding into the self, going within. Like mammals are hibernating right now. So how to go in and have our little mini hibernation. That's what forward bends do. And they slow down the nervous system. So by going forward, you activate the parasympathetic nervous system. We're going to use our breath and we're going to take it real slow. Okay, shall we get started? Come to a standing position at the top of your mat. All right, come to the front of your mat. Stand with your feet hip distance apart, feet parallel, palms in front. Take a couple of breaths and just hug in, draw within. The retreat is inside of ourselves, so draw in. Lift your toes. Notice how that engages muscles on the legs. So hug muscles to bones. Squeeze in toward the midline. You can even press your palms lightly together. Now, as you hug, which is like, a comforting experience, we trigger the parasympathetic nervous system to be able to relax. It's like if you received a hug by a loved one at the time when you really needed a hug, then there's some relief in that. Also, there's like this hormone, oxytocin, which is the hug hormone, that helps us feel good and relax. Now take your thigh bones back, tail in, and inhale. Stretch your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Enjoy the stretch. Keep your legs hugged. And then bow. Go inside. Time to go into the dark, not resist it. And then inhale from the dark, shine your light. Come halfway up. And then exhale, fold again, go deeper. One more. Inhale, heart forward. And exhale, fold. Awesome. Put your hands on your upper outer shins and push your shins in toward the middle to assist the hug. And then as you hug your shins, push your thigh bones apart. Roll your thighs in and push from the inner thigh to the outer thigh. Try to widen your sitting bones even as you keep your shins hugged. So we create the boundary here. Healthy self-boundaries helps to produce greater freedom. So hug in. It's like when you're hugged in, you're nourished, restored, rejuvenated, then you have more energy. Awesome. Step back, downward facing dog pose. And alternately bend the opposite knee, press the opposite heel toward the floor. Go back and forth. And take time to breathe. Downward dog pose is sort of a half inversion, so you get more blood flow to the brain, to the head. Very nourishing. Then bend both knees. Hug your shins. Turn your thighs in and lift your sitting bones up until you can generate a lower back curve. Keep your knees bent. Whenever you produce a low back curve and you align with the natural curves of your spine, you relax. As soon as you go against that or you flatten the spine, it creates a warning signal to the brain and it will activate the survival mechanism. So align your spine. Lift your sitting bones so the low back pulls in, then draw your tail in. Also, try to avoid collapsation of the arm bones, so lift your armpits up away from the floor, and at the same time, melt the heart. Create the boundary with your arms, so you sort of stabilize the shoulders, and within that, you can melt the upper back. Good. From your heart, push your hands, and from your heart, root your heels. Stretch and breathe. Exhale. Right foot forward, lunge. Awesome. Let's come up into a little twist. Just lean onto your left hand, stretch your right arm up. Take a breath, enjoy it. Keep your legs hugged into the middle. And then exhale. Release, bring your left knee down to the floor, walk your hands back, right leg straight, root the heel, and then dig a trench isometrically. You pull back without moving. Pull. And as you pull back, now all of your muscles start to work. Root your right thigh toward the floor and widen it out to the right. Keep your right shin hugged to the middle. And then pull your tail in, navel back, gently bow. Keep your tongue inside your mouth. This is a very intense stretch. And then inhale, come up part way, twist to the right, bring your left hand to the outside of your right leg, and bow again. And breathe. So we've got to get the calves and the hamstrings to open up. And this is a great way to get a stretch. Inhale, come up. Bend the right knee, step back, downward facing dog pose. See if you can notice the difference now between the right leg and the left leg. Right leg will feel a little bit more open, more flexible, lighter. Good. Exhale, left leg forward and twist. Lean on your right hand. Stretch your left arm up. Go within. Hug your legs. Scissor your legs now and toward the middle. It's like you create a foundation to go deeper. And breathe. Exhale, come back to center. Right knee down on the floor. Walk your hands back. And then make your left leg straight. Root the heel and isometrically pull backwards. Spread your toes. Keep your foot straight, but spread your toes. Drag back. Muscles hug. Then pull your tail in, navel back, and bow. The source of all of our energy and sort of what the source of wholeness, what regenerates us. It's like going to the original wellspring of the life force energy is already inside. So bow and breathe. And then inhale, come up and twist to your left. Walk your right hand over, scissor your legs, and then bow again. Take your time. We don't want to force. You're going to get a really good stretch, but try not to push yourself. The yogi always tries to bring comfort to our discomforture. It's not trying to avoid it, but also not to push. So you get it so that if it hurts good. It's a good hurt. And stretch. Good. Exhale, bend the left knee, step back. Plank pose. Take your thigh bones back, tail in. Bend your elbows, come halfway down into Chaturanga Dandasana. And you can put your knees on the floor as needed. Move your thighs back, tail in. If you can hold, hang in there. It's good upper body workout. And then exhale all the way down. Stretch your toes back, hug your shins. And draw down through your tailbone. Come up into Cobra. And then isometrically pull your palms backwards. Don't think so much about coming up all the way. Maybe come up 3/4 of the way and pause. Then go for alignment. Lift your side ribs. Take the head of your arm bones back. Heart forward. And then take your palate back. Lift the back of your skull up. And then rise up just a bit more. Root your hips, your legs. And as you root, rise and lengthen through your spine more. Take a deep breath. And then exhale, extend your spine as you come down. And go back into child's pose. Big toes touch, knees a little wider, arms out in front. And this is a great pose, this little warm-up pose to go within. It helps to open up the hips and the spine. Now see if you can let go, forehead to the floor. Release your hips. Relax your belly. And take one more full deep breath. And exhale. Inhale and slowly come up. We use the breath to help ourselves let go. All right, let's start the pose. Trianga Mukha Ekapada Paschimottanasana. That means I'll have coffee, no cream. Okay, just kidding. All right, so a couple of things. We're going to go into half virasana on one leg. So if you can't bend your knee like this, watch my back leg, like this, then there's a couple things we'll do. One is you'll sit up on a block and you put the block right under the sitting bones like this. And then left knee is folded back on this side. And the right leg is straight out in front. The other modification you can do if you have issues with your knee, then you get a roll. This is a segment of a sticky mat, which works great with 2 rubber bands, so that it's pretty firm but it's spongy. Or you can use a cloth, or a dish towel or something that you can roll up, and you put it behind the crease in the bent knee. And that is going to give the joint a little more space so it doesn't pull on the ligaments so much. Okay, so you have to see which part of it. If you can't bend your knee this way at all, you can do this pose in the Janu Shirshasana style, where your left knee is turned out to the side. Okay? All right, so bring your left knee back, and we want the toes to be straight back, not pigeon-toed in, and turn slightly out. So grab hold of your 5th toe and just move your foot slightly outward. Pull up on the skin of the left kneecap here. And then place your hands down, lift your hips, inner rotate your thighs, and stick your butt way back. And here's where you may need to elevate on a block or a couple of blankets to get your sitting bones higher. The reason is we want to align with the natural curve in the back. So if you can't pull the lumbar vertebrae in, there should be a trench, then that's a sign. Then you can sit up. Okay. Otherwise, your right heel hug toward the middle. Awesome. Pull your kneecap up. Get your quad to engage. All right. Now, sitting in this position, you will notice that your left sitting bone is higher up off the floor or the block. So I'd like you to focus on the left hip now and see if you can breathe into the left hip and then soften it. So as you exhale, allow the weight of the left sitting bone to get heavy and let it go into gravity. Soften your left lower belly. And see if you can practice this idea of going within, sort of go on retreat in yourself and let go. In order to release that left sitting bone down, you have to be in the parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, so it's a light hug of the muscles. Don't give up. You still engage a little bit, but then you surrender. And you have to think about it, visualize it, and then connect it with your breath. And you'll see over the course of a few breaths, the left sitting bone will come down, and then you can check. So when I first started this, my left sitting bone was about 1 inch off the floor. Now the left and right are both down evenly. It's a miracle. All right, so squeeze to the middle, and then lift your heart. Now here's the Paschimottanasana part as we fold forward. So here's your 3 limbs. There's 1 on the left, 2 on the right, because it's upper and lower leg, facing. And then lift your heart and exhale, back bend as you go forward. Maintain the back bend as much as you can. And then draw your tailbone in. Round the back a bit, but reach your heart toward the foot. Walk your hands forward. Eagle talons, lift your elbows, armpits back. Okay, and there's a little bit of a twist. So, twist slightly to your right, hold the little toe edge of your right foot with your left hand, and just a little bit of a pull. Inner rotate your thigh, stick your butt back behind you, then draw your tail in, and root from the pelvis into the earth, and lengthen side ribs, shoulders back. And then you can start to bring your head down. Few ways to hold. You can hold your ankle, little toe edge of the foot, or you can hold right over the ball mounds. And this is going to take you much deeper. You pull the toes toward you and pull your heart toward the foot. And breathe. The body's going to want to collapse here, so you keep the space. Take the head of the arm bones back. And the last technique here is visualize the central line of your spine and let that descend. The periphery comes up toward the sky. So outer hip creases go towards the back plane of the body. Floating ribs lift towards the back plane. Armpits lift. Head of the arm bones go back. Sides of the throat. Even your ears lift toward the sky while you melt the central line of the spine. So there's a little bit of resistance. The spine sinks toward the earth, but both sides of the periphery of your body fly upward toward the sky. And breathe. Let's hold for 1 or 2 more breaths. And just like you release the left sitting bone on the exhalation, release the central line of your spine on the exhalation. Now to come up, engage your legs again. Root the sitting bones down. Inhale, come back into a low back curve. So lift your heart, take your shoulders back, pull the low back in, and move your hands back by the sides. Very good. Let's do side 2. Trianga Mukha Ekapada Paschimottanasana. So left leg is extended, right knee goes back. And don't forget you can use the roll underneath the knee. Another issue that can happen is if your ankles are tight, then you'll get a cramp in the bottom of your foot. So this is a little too small, but I'll show it anyway. You put a rolled towel right underneath just above the ankle area, and that's going to give your ankle joint more space. So I would have to get something that's a little more, I think this blanket's going to be too much. Here, I'll use the belt just to show this. And remember, sit up on a block. That will help your knee, and it's also going to help your hips. All right, so I'm just kind of bunching this up, and that's going to go here. That's great. Okay, so another thing you can do is turn your toes out. Naturally, they're going to be, big toe is going to try to hide underneath your sitting bone. Okay, no hiding under the rock. So spread your toes out and turn your toes out this way. And then press top of the toes down. You're going to actually pull. It's like rake the sand. Pull the toes backward. And that's going to engage the shin. Lift your sitting bones, inner rotate your thigh. Just hips are up, stick your butt out, and then bring it back down. So I don't need this. Okay. And lift the skin of the right kneecap up. That will definitely help. Engage, hug in. We want to learn how to draw within. And then stick your butt out. Exhale, back bend. As you go into the forward bend, bring your hands forward. Root the left heel, drag isometrically backwards. Your left kneecap will engage and lift, quad is strong. And then start to extend your heart forward toward the foot. At this point, now you go into forward flexion of the spine. Draw your tail in, the navel pulls in and up. So you have support along the front of the spine. Good. Twist a little bit to your left and hold the outer edge of your left foot with your right hand or the outer shin. Like I said, you could also hold directly over the tops of the ball mounds and just pull back. That's my favorite. At a certain point in the stretch, that's usually where I go. Walk your left hand forward a bit. You can come on to eagle talons. And then begin the process of going within. And what's so interesting, in order to turn on the parasympathetic nervous system, you have to surrender the spine. But at the same time, you engage the peripheral parts of the body. So engagement, when it's like a soft hug, increases parasympathetic nervous system. So armpits lift, waistlines back, outer hip creases back. and then exhale, fold. Let's inhale, come up for a moment, and sit upright. Now check the right hip and the left hip and see if you can now surrender the right sitting bone toward the floor so it's equally down on the floor. Exhale, soften the right lower belly area and let the right hip get very, very heavy. One more time, exhale, let go. So I feel my right sitting bone go into the floor. Even the right femur bone, the thigh bone, descends. And that's all just from, concentration to release the tension that binds and keeps us in fight or flight instinct. I mean, it's good for survival. We have to fight off the woolly mammoths as they're chasing us, but when there's no threat of danger, we have to be able to turn off the survival mechanism. And that's what's difficult. Okay, back bend in the forward bend. Come forward, hold the little toe edge of your foot, then round, belly in. Turn your belly, just sweep the low belly and the heart a little bit toward the right, toward the left, this way. Extend your heart closer toward the foot. And especially hollow your armpits and move the head of your arm bones toward the back plane of the body. Typically everything, we let go so much that we round, and then it's more of a collapsation pose, which triggers the survival mechanism. So you have to give yourself a little more support to be able to relax. So lift the arm bones, keep your body aligned, and then melt from the central spine, the central line of the spine. That central line carries, it's like the conduit for the divine. And when you're in there, it's as sweet as wine. You feel sublime. One more deep breath. Inhale and slowly come up. Walk your hands back. Place your fingers on the sides. Here, take your shoulders back. Good. And exhale, release. Come up. Go back into downward facing dog pose. Stretch it out. Lift both sitting bones high. Keep your knees bent. Get the low back to pull in. Armpits up, sitting bones up. Exhale, child's pose. Big toes touch now, knees really wide apart. Fold forward. And we'll rest here for a few breaths and take this time to receive the benefit of this pose. Trianga Mukha Ekapada Paschimottanasana. The three-limbed, one-legged facing forward bend pose is instrumental in triggering the parasympathetic nervous system, our capacity to relax and let go and align with the seasons, to rejuvenate. And as you're ready, slowly come up. Take a seat. Sit for a moment. Join your index fingers and thumbs, palms down on your knees. Take your shoulders back, lift your heart, and just close your eyes for a moment. When you exhale, allow your sitting bones to get heavy. Both sitting bones now descend into the earth. But at the same time, lift the heart. We're willing to go into this time of the dark season when the days are shorter, partly because we know that in the dark there's rejuvenation After all, in the dark, rich soil, that's where seeds germinate. All possibilities arise out of the darkness. So the darkness is there, it's good, it's nourishing. In fact, we need to have the dark sky to be able to appreciate the stars. And what gives us hope is we're certain that the light will return. Draw into the light of your own heart. In many ways, during the dark season, our light becomes more precious, more bright. Let's nourish that light by remembering to breathe, to take time to rest, and to do a practice that helps us gain mastery over the nervous system, to be able to let go, rejuvenate, and restore ourselves to that inner state of calm, inner state of peace, where we discover we're already whole and complete inside. Draw deeply now into your heart, into the abode of the heart. That's what Ashaya means, abode of the heart. You go into the safe space within to rejuvenate and heal. Bring your palms together in front of your heart now. We offer thanks, and let's send restorative light out to our friends and family and out into the world to bring just a little more peace into the world today. We'll take a deep breath and share the sound of Om. Namaste. Thank you so much. Have a great day. See you next time.